Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. Well, it's a big day today. You know what? I think I forgot to post this on Locals. To my Locals people, I apologize. Things have been a little bit weird here. I've had to do things that I don't normally have to do today. And I guess we'll talk about those. We'll talk about what's happening here. I have adequately stated in the title what's going on. You can't just say no audio. You know, I can check these things. But for a recap, let's put it this way. Let's start with this recap. My channel and me have been threatened by Law and Crime. Yes, the multi-million-dollar media network, Abrams Media, founded by Dan Abrams, big media correspondent for many, many years before founding his own, chief legal analyst of what, ABC or CBC, whatever the hell it is. I don't even remember. I guess I can check. Let's see, Dan. What are you, Dan? Dan Abrams, chief legal analyst for ABC. And the host of Dan Abrams Live, News Nation Now, the host of Sirius XM, POTUS Channel 124 at 2 p.m., the founder of Mediaite and Law and Crime, is very, very threatened by little old me. I guess. I mean, you know what? Let's be fair here. I have no idea if Dan Abrams has anything to do with this personally, but I would assume he'd have to have some sort of involvement here, some sort of knowledge. I don't know, Dan. You haven't reached out to me at all. Why? Are you a bitch, Dan? Because your company's acting like a bitch. Are you a bitch, Dan? Could be. But we're gonna delve into all of this. And so I turn to you. Humble audience, and throw myself upon your mercy. I may end up needing your help. I hope not, right? This should be resolved without any crazy action. So I'm not firing any false start guns here, but I am going to do a couple things today that I don't do in this manner because of some possibilities that are out there that I have to account for and plan for. I'm going to ask multiple times today for one thing very specifically. I'm going to ask you to follow me on Locals, rekietalaw.locals.com for free. Don't go signing up to Locals. I'm not asking you to or you know what I mean? Don't go signing up and I'm not asking you to pay or anything like that right now. I'm asking people just to follow On Locals, because there is a possibility, and we'll talk about exactly how this could happen, that Law and Crime will attack the channel in such a way that I won't be able to communicate on YouTube for a couple of days. And if they do that, I want to have a way to talk to people and let people know what's going on. So recadalaw.locals.com. I don't normally shill it more than maybe once a show, if that. But go there just in case they actually take my channel down. And then that way, that'll be a way to keep up on what's going on. Okay. That being said, I hope they're not that stupid, right? I hope they are properly chastised by this show tonight and by the response that they will be receiving from my attorney. No. Some of you out there are like, oh, wait, you're an attorney though. Why? Don't worry. They're going to get a response from me. I will respond via video, partly tonight, and then possibly with a follow-up short video or something like that. We'll figure out exactly what's going on here. But for now, know that I have retained counsel because I'm not a copyright attorney. And this is a copyright issue. But I have retained a copyright attorney. I have discussed this with my copyright attorney. And they will be responding by the deadline set out by Law and Crime, which we're going to talk about. There's a deadline, an ultimatum. So they'll be responding happily, with glee. And I will be responding here on YouTube because I don't do things in the dark. We don't have fights in the dark. And if you want to bring a fight in my fucking house, then I will bring it to you from my fucking house. And I will pull no punches and make no hesitation or mitigation about what you are, Dan Abrams. You bitch. But I'm going to show you everything that we've got going on right now. Okay. So we'll go back to the beginning with a little bit of story time, stuff I don't have actual hard copies of. And then what I will do is I will go ahead and show you the tweets that were leading up to this. And then I will show you the cease and desist letter that I received from Law and Crime today. We'll walk through it. And then after I show you all of this, there may be some tangenting. I'm a little angry. But after I show you all of this, after I show you the cease and desist, we'll be doing a little bit of education on a thing called fair use. Fair use is something you need to be familiar with in the media world. Fair use is something you need to familiarize yourself with very quickly if you're on YouTube. For your own sake of, you might have to borrow a portion of content. You might have to look at a web page. You might have to do anything at all online. You have to make sure that you're within the bounds of legality. But also, and this is the important one, Law and Crime, you may have to do a fair use analysis on what other people do to your content. You're going to have to be familiar with the idea that someone might borrow a portion of your content and whether or not that borrowing is legal. because you can't just be concerned about what you're doing. You have to educate yourself on how you handle other people potentially stepping into your copyright. All right? So with that, we'll do a little education on fair use. Happy this Law and Crime, this isn't going to cost you a penny for your free lesson tonight. But between some of these segments, I will be asking and just talking about the locals, so the people who are coming in kind of later in the show and stuff like that get that. So please bear with me. It's not something I do all the time. I don't like to do that, but as we go through this, I will be discussing exactly how there could be a temporary hiccup in the Ricada Law channel. Only because so far, Law and Crime and Dan Abrams have acted like a bitch. I don't have any reason to believe that they won't continue to act like a bitch and do something further stupid. Now they can change course on this and that would be fine, of course. All right. So with that, there are some early super chats I want to get to and keep up with these as we go. So if you'll bear with me, we'll get the early chats here and then we'll get full on into this this saga with a little bit of story time. Oh my goodness. And by the way, a big shout out to everybody who's been helping me signal boost this. Jeremy from the Quartering, that Umbrella guy, my Law Tube panel homies, everybody who's out there retweeting about this and stuff like that. I really, really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. It helps. It helps get the word out. So, and some of you may have noticed that I drew inspiration on the title and the tweeting strategies specifically from the Quartering. And for the free education in internetery, Jeremy Hambley, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Enigma, the basement troll, says, "Hey, Nick, don't forget to ask Law and Crime Network the most important question. Do they want balls or no balls with that?" The Dragon's Treasure says, "YouTube censors too much. Message in Twitter DM." Hazel Eye says, "Puny Dan Abrams scared of you? Rant on and have some whiskey on me." Contrarian 420 says, "My body is ready for this great stream today. Plus, great stream today. Cheers, Racco. Free Chandler." Garviel Loken says, "Can you hoist one for the remembrancers and all of the brothers we lost on Isfan 3, the Emperor Protects?" Yes, in just a minute. Oxygen Induced says, "Law and Crime has a really cool beard, though. Hey, buddy." Mario Carter says, "I'm not saying Nick is late, but he's so inspired by Katy Perry, he wants to see your cock. Wait, your peacock cock your peacock." Okay. Thank you. That's disgusting, I think. Mexican Flash says, "Just so Law and Clux knows, there are 3 rules to follow to not lose against Nick. 1, do not go after him. 2, see rule number 1. 3, if you break the first 2 rules, thank you for the laughs at your expense." Idaho Plumber says, "I have to be up by 4 a.m. Hurry up, slacker." El Gonzo 1000 says, "Late and heteroflexible." True and Shambada Bad Pressure Bad Calf Care says, "Did you know that your nose never stops growing? Also, we should be the nose army in other chats like Salty Army. Now, can I please have a toast? Because I'm getting over COVID finally, and it was rough." Sure, I'll do one in just a second. JP says, "At least he won't be as late as Chandler's dad." Oof. Ryan H says, "Hey, Rackets, not going to make tonight's stream, but can I get a toast for my 23rd birthday tonight as of 12? Hoping for a duly inaugurated POTUS for my 26th. Ryan H, yes. In just a minute, I'll start the toast. I want to get these early super chats, then we'll do those. Eugene says, "Speaking about Russian maps on the wall, 3 years ago, one father decided the sentence, received by a guy who R. Kelly'd his daughter was too soft. So he Mozambiqued the guy with 3 throwing knives right at the court. Got 8 years suspended sentence. Oh, shit. Don't mess with kids in Russia or anywhere, but in Russia. Billy Witch Doctor says lawn cucks is garbage. Lawn cucks is garbage. I'll take it. I'll take it. The quartering. Thank you. Thank you for the axe. Very much appreciated. Someone asked who is my lawyer on this, and I'm happy to tell you my lawyer is a good friend, Mr. Stephen Birch. Mr. Stephen Birch is an IP attorney. I've talked to him on the show. I have followed some of his work on the show, and he's always been available for me if anything like this ever came up. And so I had a discussion with him today. Stephen Birch is my attorney, and he will be, like I said, he will be responding to Law and Crimes letter with a letter. I respond in video. I don't want to type anymore. I don't want to type anymore. Okay, Silver Coins Go Clink Clink says, does Locals have an app? I would have signed up there already if I wasn't lazy, to be honest, and kind of like just randomly sending money to say dumb stuff every once in a while. Yes, Locals has an app, but let me suggest that if you are going to subscribe as a paid subscriber on Locals, do it through the website, not through the app. Use the app for everything else that you do. But because Google and Apple have their little cut, it costs like a little bit extra to sign up through the app, because Google and Apple take their percentage. If you sign up through the website, they don't take the percentage, and then you get to use the app whenever you want. Stephen Oglesby says, stomp on their manhood with golf shoes, bro. Idaho Plumber says, we will help out however we can, Nick. You and the panel are much needed guide. Thank you. It means a lot to me. Elaine Weldon, thank you for the donation. Aaron Catron says, raising a glass of Tamdu Scotch. Here's to justice. Thank you. Nova says, checked out your Twitch stream last night. Never watched Twitch before, really. Your stream sucked, but you were redeemed thanks to the Sandy raid. She was lovely. Also subbed to Locals last night. Good luck with bitches. Elaine Weldon says, I'm worried for you. Are you okay? And Lady R. Yes, we are fine right now. We are fine. Thank you. Aerojazz YP says, Dan Abrams allegedly face dives into Jack Murphy's chocolate Cheerio. And Seth Stryker says, Nick, the entertainment value alone of this shit show is worth the price of admission. Also, thanks for getting me through a 10-day Koof hotel prison stay away from home. Happy to have done that. Okay, real quick, I've got the toasts. We've got the toasts. You got the toasts. Do, 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 do. Let's start with this one real quick. Real quick. Where do we go? It was a Ryan, right? Ryan H. Ryan H. Happy 23rd birthday. You're just out into the world, a young whippersnapper out there, ready to make a difference, ready to tackle life. But here you are asking for a toast from me, some random guy on the internet with a microphone. Cheers to you, buddy. May your decisions and your ventures be fruitful. Peace. All right. And I am starting with Muckety Muck tonight. Okay. Here's the story time on this. Here's the story time on Dan Abrams and Law and Crime. Probably about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, somewhere in there. someone comes into my chat. I don't remember who. God bless you, good sir or madam. And says, "Hey, Nick, I know someone from Law and Crime. I know someone from Law and Crime, and they are very annoyed that you've been using their stream for your show." And I chuckle because it's very, very funny to think that Law and Crime, one, would care at all, and two, would think that they have some sort of special magical copyright power on their stream. If you don't know what Law and Crime does, Law and Crime does what I do without any of the effort. What I mean by that is Law and Crime utilizes a courtroom feed. They utilize a courtroom feed, and then they broadcast a court proceeding to the world. Now, they may at some point, I have no idea when, offer something like analysis. I don't know. I've never watched a single piece of Law and Crime analysis. So maybe they have somebody who gives feedback or explains what's going on. I haven't seen it. Law and Crime, for my purposes, for the purposes that I've actually witnessed, all they do is they get a courtroom feed and they broadcast it. No commentary or anything. And what they do is it's a good service, right? It's an easy way for people to find a lot of different trials that are happening all the time. They have multiple YouTube channels that are live streaming, sometimes simultaneously, from different courtrooms across the country. Now, is Law and Crime in the courtroom physically? I don't know. Maybe they are. But here's what I do know is that during, for example, the Rittenhouse trial, during the Kim Potter trial, during the Chandler Halderson trial, there are multiple broadcasters, all broadcasting from the same pooled feed. So the way this often works out is that somebody petitions the court for access, for media access to the courtroom. Sometimes multiple outlets may petition the court for media access to the courtroom. And the court says, I don't want like 6 camera crews in here. So they pick one, and each state may have a different process for doing this. Oftentimes a lottery, a dumb draw lottery, right? And so then they say, here's the host. And then all of you other people out there who want access to this particular feed for whatever reason, you go ahead and you share. You have to share. No big deal. And so then someone puts up a camera and someone hits record. And then that feed is shared with everybody. That's why during the Rittenhouse trial, for example, you could go on Law and Crime, or you could go on, I don't know, a different channel. I don't remember what other channels were used, but you could go on Court TV, for example. You go on a different channel and you can watch it, and the camera angles are the same. The camera angles are the same. So this is going to be a critical point in this discussion as we get to what even is a fair use, bro. And the question will be, does Law and Crime actually even have a copyright in what they're purporting to have a copyright in? Because it's not abundantly and immediately clear that they do. So what you've got going on is a public proceeding, a government action, and in this case, a court action. It's a factual matter of record. All right. Now, the copyright that you do get on these things is when you create a videographic work. I mean, audiographic works are also copyrighted. Just creating basically any of them gives you some level of copyright ownership, sort of. Sort of. But you have to be the creator of the work. So the question is, if, for example, Court TV positions the cameras and points them and press play, and then Law and Crime, through permission, rebroadcasts that, have they generated some sort of sufficient copyright interest, or are they like a licensee of some sort to Court TV's copyright interest through an agreement enforced by the court? That's a question. And it's not immediately clear on any of these things what it is. I mean, it could be discovered, right? But if Law and Crime is representing that they have a copyright merely because they're borrowing someone else's feed and slapping their logo on it, that's not actually accurate. That's not necessarily accurate. They may be doing a derivative work with permission. It's not even a derivative work. It's just a rebroadcast of the original work. They have permission to do it, but that doesn't make them able to enforce a copyright necessarily. But that being said, these are still public works. The other aspect of this, which will need to be discussed and potentially discovered, is, are they actually choosing the camera angles? Or is a judge saying the camera can be there and can picture the witness box, counsel table, me, blah, 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 blah. What do you got? Is a judge making those decisions, or is there actually some sort of artistic decision being made by the producer of the video? These things are going to matter almost not at all in the analysis, but of the things that matter, this will matter. This will matter somewhat. But ultimately, at the end of the day, as the record will show, it doesn't really matter, because what I'm doing is so far removed from what they're doing as to be transformative in the truest sense of the word, to not impact Law and Crime's market, because the product that I have created is so vastly different from the product they have created that it doesn't really matter. But for the purposes of thoroughness and education, it'll matter a little bit. So with that, someone said that Law and Crime was salty about my use of their video, and I chuckled. I can run with the meme, internet beefs are internet beefs. And then someone followed up after that and said, hey, your name is actually censored in the Law and Crime chat, which I don't know. I popped into the Law and Crime chat and I tried to send a message, and my message appeared to me to go through. It appeared to me to go through. But other people reported to me that my messages did not go through, that the name Rekieta Law was actually censored in chat. And therefore, if it came from me, since it would say Rekieta Law, that it would be censored. But also, if you mention Rekieta Law in a comment, that comment would be censored. It just wouldn't show up for other people. I don't know. There's some convoluted way I could verify. I have no idea. But I did try to send them a thank you for the excellent stream that they were doing the other day. And I was told that did not come through. So let's go back to that. I will show you my tweet about it. Here you go. We'll have to refer to Twitter a couple different times today. I apologize for giving you cancer by making you look at Twitter if you're not already on there. Because some allegations have been made about my tweets in this letter as well. So, this is completely unrelated. This is a completely unrelated bit of internet comedy legal advice. If someone has made a joke about you, or perhaps multiple jokes or multiple statements, and you put down, like you pay a lawyer to write down the jokes that offended you and send them to someone or send them to a court, don't do that. don't tell the person making fun of you what thing made you so mad that you were officially you're going to officially respond to it. Very, very internet law 101. I'm going to, we'll be talking about what things made Law and Crime so mad as to merit official responses. You fucking pussies. Okay, let's start with this. Let's start here. So here is a tweet that I made to Law and Crime the other day. It says, tried to pop into Law and Crime Network chat to thank them for their coverage of these trials, and it's being reported that my name is banned in their chat. So I guess I'll do it here. Thanks for the coverage. That's very nice. There's nothing trolly or mean-spirited about this at all. Actually, there's nothing mean-spirited about this. They deserve a little thanks. They're legitimately providing an easy place for people to get access to these court feeds, and that's cool. That's a cool thing that they're doing. I don't know why. I don't know why they woke up and chose saltiness. I have no idea why that is their tactic, is to wake up and choose saltiness, because we're all really in this together, and we don't do the same thing. Because if you watch my stream, you're getting me. You're getting the law panel who might be joining me at the time. That's what you're getting. You're not getting Law and Crime. Law and Crime broadcasts a raw feed without commentary, and that is of value, because some people don't want to hear an asshole talk over a court proceeding. And you know what I said to the people who did that during the Rittenhouse trial, who said, "Hey man, can you be quiet? Hey, can you not talk during this thing?" I said, "No, this is my show. You're here for me. If you're not here for me, leave. Go watch Law and Crime if you want a raw feed without commentary." Many of you may remember me saying that pretty specifically. I do. Actually directing traffic. If you don't want our commentary, go to Law and Crime. And I'm sure many people actually did do that. I'm sure many did. I don't want people to listen. Like, I don't want them. Well, there are 4 videos on the interwebs where I want people to be forced to listen to me, and I actually have an alternative. I actually can prevent them from listening to anybody else on it. And it is the deposition of Vic Mignogna, the deposition of Ron Toye, and the deposition of Monica Rial. I am the only person who has officially released those depositions. And so you have to deal with my voiceover on those things. And I will never change that, because it's the funniest thing that could possibly happen with those depositions. That's that. Many people have asked me to release the raw ones. No. But other than that, I don't want to force people to listen to me. Why would I want them to be forced to listen? If you don't want to listen to me, please just go anywhere else. It's not going to bother me. I only want people who want to be listening to my show come to my show. Morzimbo, you said that's only 3. The deposition of Ron Paul was 2 parts, so it's 4 videos. My bad. My bad. I should have clarified that. So anyway, I do. Here's the first tweet that I've made to Law and Crime. I believe I don't recall any other tweets I've made to Law and Crime prior to this date. This was on January 18th, 2022. Let me try and do an advanced search to see if I have ever mentioned Law and Crime before. Wait, it's Law Crime. Law Crime Network or something. Law Crime Network. Might have had one tweet prior to that. Where are we? Oh shit, that's going to be, I need the advanced search. Let's see. From these accounts, me, to these accounts. Law Crime Network. Search. Really? No results from Ricada Media to Law Crime Network. I don't understand how to search. Okay, well, I know I tweeted at them. Here's one. I mean, I was just on it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. So again, here's I believe my first tweet about them. There may be another one. There may be another one, but this is I believe the first time I directly engaged them. This will become important. All right. So here we go. Then there's a little Twitter exchange that happens. There's a little Twitter exchange. I made a couple statements about Law and Crime, about their alleged banning of my name in their chat, for sure. Not downplaying that I have made fun of Law and Crime. So then what happens is this. Then what happens today is this. There was there was a prior incident that I should discuss. The other day, I was attempting to stream, I believe, the preliminary hearing for Theodore Edgecombe, the trial I started today. And what happened was in the middle of that stream, I say in the middle, I had just gotten started on it. And it was after the actual hearing had taken place. And I was using the on-demand version, the video on-demand version of the Law and Crime stream from earlier in the day. And as I started it, Law and Crime took it down. They took it down, and I said, "Oh, they took it down live. They took it down. They're so salty." And I think I called them fucking pussies, right? Because that's how they're acting, frankly. That's what they're acting like right now. So I did have that interaction. That was on the show. I wish I knew exactly where that was. I don't. And so then I went and grabbed the feed from somewhere else. But I alleged that they privated it in real time in response to me. They never said anything until today about it. But if you guys will give me just a second, I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Not even my righteous indignation can stop the dad duty. not even not even that. My apologies. Sometimes you got to take care of some things, but that being said, that being said, uh, where were we? Oh yes, what happened next? What happened today? At the start of today. At the start of today. Here we go. So I mentioned where we left off. My apologies. Trying to get back into the swing of things here. That live while I was covering a hearing for a pretrial hearing for Theodore Edgecombe, Law and Crime took down their video. They privated it, which wasn't a big deal. I went and got it from another source. It was just funny. Okay. It was just funny. And it is possible. It is possible, though I do not and did not encourage this in any way, that some of my viewers may have gone and made fun of Law and Crime. They may have popped into their chat and called them some various names, some of which may be mentioned in the upcoming read of the letter. That may have happened. I have not and do not encourage that, despite the fact that I will be accused of encouraging that from these fucking pussies. I am only responsible for my words. I am not responsible for anybody else's, and I did not ask anybody to do that. The person, by the way, to be very, very clear about this, the people who asked for members of my audience to go make fun of Law and Crime is Law and Crime. When you act like bitches, people will call you bitches. That's how life works. That's not someone else directing people to do stuff. That's the product of your actions. People will make decisions based on how you act because people aren't actually sheep. People aren't actually, I mean, I know Law and Crime. Look, Dan Abrams launched The Mary Sue and Mediaite and the Law and Crime Network. It's very possible that they view people specifically as sheep. I'm not going to discount that, but people aren't actually sheep. They're not just slavishly doing what someone says. They're shockingly sentient creatures who walk around and make their own decisions. And so some people made decisions based on Law and Crime's actions when they were made aware of the actions, and they decided to go and make fun of Law and Crime. And I mean, the network's feelings must have been very hurt. And guys, they actually were. The network's feelings were hurt. They need a cold compress or whatever to settle down. But that's not because anybody told anybody to do that. And you do a discredit to people when you treat them like mindless automatons. And it just shows the level of disdain you have for your own audience too, Law and Crime. But that being said, we'll continue. So today, the Theodore Edgecombe trial commences in full. And I, of course, am very interested in this trial and have expressed interest in the trial. And I was watching the Law and Crime Network in their coverage of the trial. And there's a specific reason that I chose the Law and Crime Network to watch it. And it's because I heard it made them mad. Because I'm petty like that. I heard it made them mad. But here's the deal. Again, what we're doing here is transformative use that does not impact Law and Crime. I didn't go advertise on Law and Crime. I didn't tell anybody not to watch Law and Crime. I left their logo in the bottom left corner so that people would know that the video footage is attributed to their source. But what I am doing on these videos is a world apart from what Law and Crime is doing. They are not offering live legal commentary. I am. And in this case, I was joined by several other people today. Andrew Branca, Legal Mindset, the other Andrew, as he is sometimes called, and Good Logic, and I believe Runkle of the Bailey. We were all there at various times during the day watching this trial, and that was that's a fun time, and we add commentary to the video based on our individual thoughts, experiences, expertise, education, all of those things we're bringing in to this, different perspectives, different ideas, and we're talking about this to try and help other people formulate their own ideas about it as well. I mean, maybe they think we're all a bunch of idiots, which does happen from time to time. So that's what we're doing. That's not what Law and Crime's product is. Theirs is a direct feed from the court. But yes, I was using it and it shut down abruptly. And it also had shut down on basically everywhere, as far as I could tell, on YouTube. Now, I didn't know it at the time. We found out very quickly that this is what allegedly happened. Kathy Rusan, who is from Law and Crime, executive producer at Law and Crime Trial Network, a Dan Abrams production, says opinions are my own. Says road rage trial. Attorney Slayer is funnier. Theodore Edgecombe. This isn't a road rage incident to me. The killing. The judge has just ordered that this trial cannot be live streamed on social media. That means YouTube, Facebook, etc. You can watch it on Law Crime Network or hear Law and Crime live trials, blah, 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 on their webpage. So apparently, I mean, I guess not on their Twitter page. That's not what they're saying, I don't think. But you can watch it here. So now I haven't seen any order from the judge about this. I don't know when the judge would have issued the order. It's possible that the judge issued the order in the broadcast delay. But it's important to note the judge did not order that the trial cannot be live streamed. He said the trial cannot be allegedly that the trial cannot be live streamed on social media. Now, here's the deal. So what I did, of course, was I went to the Fox 6 Milwaukee page and I borrowed their feed from the court, from their webpage, because they weren't broadcasting to YouTube. I'm not in Milwaukee. I'm not in Wisconsin. I am not under this case. I have not appeared before the court. I have not petitioned the court. And the judge cannot order me to do shit because I'm not in his jurisdiction. I'm not under the authority of this judge. So I absolutely can broadcast this on YouTube. 100%. The First Amendment is real, y'all. The First Amendment exists and it's real. And I don't think this judge would purport to try and shut down a rebroadcast on social media because he can't. He knows he can't do it. And in fact, at the end of trial today, he said, I'm sure this is going to be up on YouTube and other places. Of course, he's right. Of course it is. Because he can't stop that. What he can do is he can direct people who are under his jurisdiction, like, for example, whoever is recording. I think Court TV is the broadcast source on this one, but I don't know. It could be Law and Crime. I'm not sure. Would love to get answers on that. But I believe I saw it would be broadcast by Court TV. But what he can do is tell whoever's running the cameras that you can't send it out to this thing because they're under his jurisdiction. They're literally in his courtroom. So whatever they do, I don't care. Because I am grabbing the feed from a news source, and we are still, again, contributing additional commentary in a transformative, obviously transformative manner. And again, I haven't seen an order from the judge. And even if there were an order from the judge, I'm not under his jurisdiction. And like I said, the First Amendment exists and we have the right. We have the right to do this. The judge cannot enjoin the internet from talking about a subject. It doesn't work that way. So that being said, this happens. All right. And they say you can watch it here or here or here or whatever. And then Lucky Lenny here sets off a firestorm. Says, or go to YouTube and go to Ricada Media Channel, Ricada Law. And Kathy responds, he's violating the judge's order in Edgecombe. Everyone else took it down because right before they began, the judge ordered no live stream on social media. But wait, Law and Crime. If he ordered that right before it began, you violated the order because you were broadcasting after it began. You were broadcasting into the beginning of right at the very beginning of opening arguments. And the judge didn't, there were minutes that went by before that went down. So I'm not sure when this alleged order occurs. I'm not aware of it. But if your wording is true, and maybe your wording is bad, I'm not going to discount that you wrote this idiotically. But unless if your wording is correct, then you guys were violating the order, and you are the ones who would have known about the order allegedly because you're allegedly in the courtroom. But I don't know. I expect cameras will get yanked out of this trial because of this violation, because of moi, who again, I can't violate an order that doesn't have jurisdiction over me, lady. Look, I know you call yourselves Law and Crime, but you should focus on the law aspect a little bit. If that's going to just call yourself crime. Just call yourself crime if you don't know anything about the law. But a judge in this case cannot order me. I don't have ties to Wisconsin. I'm not targeting Wisconsin. I'm not doing anything specifically in Wisconsin to bring me under the specific jurisdiction of this court. They certainly don't have general jurisdiction over me. I don't live in Wisconsin. I don't own property there. I'm not in the state currently. So with all that, never mind. We'll get into that. So then I, of course, respond. I don't recall being under this judge's order, much less his jurisdiction. And then I get a response from Ann-Jeanette Levy, Emmy-nominated reporter, anchor, Law and Crime, Law Crime Daily, host of Simply Medicine on 55 KRC, 2 p.m. Saturdays. Mommy, wife, don't back down. Oh, don't worry, Ann-Jeanette. I won't. She says judges have discretion and can set rules for coverage when cameras can be recording, etc., when cameras are in the courtroom. Yeah? What does that have to do with me? I'm not in your courtroom. I don't care. That doesn't, again, it doesn't apply to me. I'm not saying the judge can't set rules in his court. I'm saying I'm not under his rules, which I'm not. Where are we? Okay, there's another. Hold on, let me find another exchange I have with Ann-Jeanette. This is all the backstory. We're getting all that backstory. So I replied to this Kathy Rusan lady, or I quote tweeted her. I said, I'm not violating an order from a judge in a case I'm not involved in a state. And it's supposed to say in a state I don't reside in. This judge has zero jurisdiction over me. The First Amendment is real. And then we'll just go back here and go up to where I think this is her responding. Oh, here we go. I did respond to her here. I said, I'm not using a camera in the courtroom. She says, interesting. You'll have to tell us sometime how you're able to stream a trial on YouTube without the use of a camera in the courtroom. As if this isn't one of the dumbest possible tweets you could come up with. She thought she was being very clever. I'll get him to admit. And this, my response to this, the cease and desist letter came very shortly afterwards. But she thought she's being very, very smart, that she would get me to admit to what I'm doing, which of course I'm doing openly. It's not like it's a secret. It's not like, again, I'm not covering up their logo. I'm not trying to obfuscate what's going on. I'm not doing this because, again, I'm so thoroughly within the realm of fair use that it doesn't matter. But that being said, I respond to her. It's pretty simple when you get down to it. I grab an active camera feed of a public proceeding as a news event, and I also add significant transformative commentary. Not that I'd really need to, but I do. I'm curious why you'd be unaware of how this process works. And then, of course, we have Black Opinion, who made this, which I have pilfered his use of it. Black Opinion, I hope you don't mind. It was too funny. It's too funny to let go. But then this is when everything changes. Okay, let me get the letter pulled up. So on the show, live on the air, I happened to get an email notification, and I wanted to very quickly look into it. And I'm not gonna show the email itself because I don't like doing that. It's very basic. I'll read it to you right now. It is from Eric Slater, counsel for Abrams Media. And it just says, Mr. Rekieta, please see the attached cease and desist notice for your immediate action. Well, it doesn't get much more immediate than what I'm doing. And now we will walk through how to write a pointless letter on behalf of Eric Slater. Now, I want to say something. Eric Slater did also send me a DM, and I will show you what that, I will show that. I will show that right now. Actually, no, I won't. Let me see. I want to crop out his, can I crop out his Twitter handle from it? I don't want anybody bothering this guy. Okay. And you'll see in my response what I mean by that. This is a guy doing his job. All right. How do I do this? I think I have an idea. Okay. Give me just a moment. I have an idea of how to do this. Here. Bootleg jankiness going on. But this will suffice. Because again, I don't want anybody to, Twitter's locked down. But I still don't want anybody bothering this guy by his Twitter handle. That's not what this is for. So anyway, here is a copy of the cease and desist that he sent. And then it says, please see the attached cease and desist notice for your immediate action. And I did respond, oh, don't worry. I got the email. I suspect you know exactly what the cease and desist is worth. I respect that you need to do what your client's requests. I trust you've properly advised them on the wisdom of this approach. I'll respond accordingly before the deadline, I assure you. So there you go. Again, trying to be as transparent as possible, but I already know, and you'll see in the email or in the cease and desist, I already know they're going to accuse me of calling for harassment, which I have never done on this channel and will never do. But if I can do things like crop out a Twitter handle, I'll do that, because I genuinely, that's a guy doing his job. Again, that's counsel for a company. He's not the decision maker there, and so I will. I do not want, again, I don't want anybody getting the wrong impressions. Being very clear on all of this stuff. Now, as I stated at the beginning of the stream, and I'll say it I'll give the explanation one more time now. I'm going to do this a couple times during the stream because, as I'll explain, should something happen to my channel, in what I would suggest is a temporary measure over the next couple days, I want people to know where they can find me. All right. RicadaLaw.locals.com is a great place to follow anything. If something happens to this YouTube channel, which it very well could temporarily, as I'll talk about, for free, please, I'm not asking anybody to go subscribe and pay. I'm not asking that at all. I'm just saying, if the YouTube channel goes down temporarily, you can find me over at Locals. You can sign up for free, and everything will be over there. You can follow what's going on and what happens next if this comes down. But there's a very real possibility that Law and Crime will do something extra stupid, like file a bunch of copyright strikes against my channel, which will trigger some automatic process at YouTube that I will then have to appeal on the back end. And even though all of my use is 100% fair use in this instance, there is a real possibility that these salty bitches will try and fuck around with my ability to produce income. And Dan Abrams should know how shitty that is, because people did that to Dan Abrams' show, PD Live, a couple years back. And guess what? It was bullshit when they did it to him too. And so if they try and do that shit, which they very well might, I have gotten 3 age restrictions, by the way, 3 age restrictions on videos of varying age of video length in the past 24 hours. And I'm sure that's just a coincidence. And I'm sure it wouldn't be the sages over at Law and Crime running through and flagging every video I've ever made. I'm sure that's not what's happening. But it is an interesting coincidence that right as this thing starts to boil up, 3 videos, one as far back as 2 years ago, got an age restriction that didn't exist, 36 hours ago. But that being said, as someone who has had a channel canceled, who's had a TV show canceled inappropriately, Dan Abrams should know that going after people's livelihood is bullshit. So I hope they don't take that tack. That would be really, really unkind of them. Also, I will note that my channel generates a significant amount of income, and attacking that income would incur a measured legal response. So that being said, which I'm going to guess will be included in our response letter to them, if I had to wager. But again, before you start bitching at me, Law and Crime, you did this, not me. I didn't do any of this. Jokes and memes and very little mild ribbing about hearing that one of your employees decided to tell one of my viewers, for some reason that only God can figure out, that you guys were salty that I was using your feed, legally using your feed. Here is the letter, though, and we'll read all of it. All right. This is a meaty cease and desist for what amounts to basically nothing. Law and crime. Via email to my email address. Attention, Nicholas Rekieta. Cease and desist. Mr. Rekieta, I am an attorney for Law News Inc., doing business as and hereafter referred to as Law and Crime. That's not true. You're going to call it Law News Inc. a million times, which owns and operates Law and Crime Network, a 24/7 live television network focused on live trials, legal analysis, and legal news. Oh, please zoom in. Just a second. There you go. There you go. And legal news. It has come to our attention that over the course of the past couple of months, and perhaps beyond, you have repeatedly posted on your YouTube channel entitled Rekieta Law, RL YouTube channel, a multitude of live streams that contain in whole or in large part Law and Crime's copyrighted live feeds of various court trials and related proceedings, infringing content. Please be advised. First of all, this is not true. This is not true. I have not posted a single Law and Crime live stream. Or, well, I guess I have posted live streams that contain, that's correct, the copyrighted live feeds. Okay. Okay, never mind. Yes, that wording is accurate. Various court trials and related proceedings, calling it the infringing content. Please be advised that due to your publication of the infringing content on RL YouTube channel, you are responsible for infringement of certain copyrights that are owned or controlled by Law News Inc. Law News Inc. therefore demands that you immediately cease such infringing activity by removing all such infringing content existing on RL YouTube channel or on related platforms otherwise owned by you or associated with you. Now, interestingly, I guess I should just tell them first of all, you got the wrong guy. You got the wrong guy. I'm not that kind of guy. Rekieta Law channel is owned by Rekieta Media, LLC, as stated in the About page of the Rekieta Law channel. So, you know, there is an LLC that actually owns this thing. You could have done a basic amount of research. Just go to the very complicated and difficult to find About page. It's also mentioned on my Rekieta Media Twitter, which you have interacted with, that Rekieta Media is the owner of Rekieta Law. But that's okay. So you got the wrong guy at first, but there's a corporate entity that owns it. But that being said, we'll treat this the same. They'd get the same response either way. Desist from such infringing activity in the future and comply with Law News's other requirements as set forth in this letter. We'll see. To illustrate RL's YouTube channel's publication of the infringing content by way of one example of many, on January 5th, 2022, RL YouTube channel live streamed opening arguments for the Chandler Halderson trial, which infringing live stream contained over 2 hours of Law and Crime's copyrighted live feed of the same trial's opening arguments. Yep, I did. I 100% did. Except, here's the thing. I added a ton of commentary to that content. An absolute ton of it. I added value to it that does not exist on your channel. Because it's a different product. Because it's transformative. And by the way, a transformative work is one that creates a new copyright. It creates a new protected work. It is not merely a defense. It is to create something new. It is no longer derivative. Let's see. Here we go. As you are aware, Law and Crime's infringed live feeds are copied directly onto Rekieta Law YouTube channel. That's not actually true, I guess. And most of the time, Law and Crime's trademark logo can be seen in the bottom left-hand corner of the infringing content. No, 100% of the time that I'm using Law and Crime's feed, their logo can be seen at the bottom left-hand side. If their logo isn't there, I'm not using their feed. I'm using someone else's. of the infringing content, leaving no doubt that the infringing content infringes upon Law and Crime's copyrighted works. That actually says nothing about it infringing at all. This is your logo being slapped on a video does not indicate at all that I'm infringing upon your content. Infringement is a term of art, as you would know, with copyright, that says that I am unlawfully, without permission, utilizing something that doesn't belong to me. But I'm not doing that. I'm transforming the original work into something new, into something of different value and for a different market of people. I'm not infringing on your market or your property in any way. That's the nature of fair use. I'm guessing you actually know that. A side-by-side comparison of RL YouTube channel's use of the infringing content and Law and Crime's corresponding infringed copyrighted live feeds proves that the infringing content on RL YouTube channel materially incorporates verbatim Law and Crime's corresponding live feeds, which are copyrighted works owned or controlled by Law News. Wait, so do you think I'm incorporating them? No, listen, Pumpkin. If you play them side by side, please do it. Actually, I'll encourage you. Go play them side by side and you see if you get the exact same experience. Try it out. See if it's the same thing. I think that's a good test of it. Go and actually play the two videos simultaneously side by side. The funny thing is, you know what? If you play the two videos side by side on a lot of these videos, not this one, I think, because I think this one involved pauses, but if you do play the two videos side by side, what you'll find out is you won't notice any difference between them, but not because of Law and Crime, but because I'm the only one adding commentary. The only video you would hear would be mine if you play them side by side, because mine has additional information layered over the top of it, directly commenting on what's going on inside the video, transforming the newsworthy event into something that it wasn't. You wouldn't hear the Law and Crime thing because a new product has been created. It's not like if you played them side by side, you would hear the Law and Crime product and then you go, okay, that's just a copy of the Law and Crime. No, if you play them side by side, you'll hear the Ricada Law product. Because it's transformative. So anyway, here we go. And Law and Crime's corresponding infringed copyrighted live feeds proves that the infringing content on the channel materially incorporates verbatim Law and Crime's corresponding live feeds, which are copyrighted works owned or controlled by Law News Inc. Law News Inc. cannot and will not accept the infringement of any of its intellectual property. You do all the time. Several people use your works. So let's not pretend that you will not accept the infringement of any of your intellectual property, including its copyrights. Ricada Law YouTube channel is currently using far more than Law News Inc. or any court would allow. Untrue. Your use of the infringing content does not fall under copyright fair use, as the quantity of the infringing content used by you is not limited to a short excerpt and is being commercially exploited for profit by you. I'm going to have to ask you to go ahead and bone up on your fair use reading there, buddy. Bucko and buckaroo. We'll go through the 4-part fair use analysis. Of which you have casually chosen 2 of the not major parts. Actually, you've only chosen about 1 1/4 to 1.5 of the 4-part analysis. You've selectively chosen those, but we'll go through the entire 4-part analysis in the lesson at the end about fair use. But stay tuned for that, Law and Crime, who, by the way, I know you're watching, because you'd be a moron not to watch, although your activities so far have been moronic. So I could potentially be wrong. Maybe you're not watching. Maybe you won't watch this replay, but I'm guessing you're going to, or you're going to make your poor lawyer do it. Uh, and by the way, to the lawyer, cheers, buddy, for doing your work. Again, I trust that you'll be advising your clients on just how stupid this is going to be for them, because a bad faith copyright attack on someone, a bad faith use of DMCA, and a bad faith abuse of the copyright system can carry with it monetary penalties. And if you drag my ass to court over this, you can bet your bottom dollar that I will extract from you every possible legal remedy, because I don't want to go to court, and neither does your bank account. All right? Neither of us want to do this. But I will if I have to. And if you drag me into this shit, I will wring you dry on this one. Because you know you're blowing smoke right now. You know that you're lying in this letter. You know that you are far exaggerating the bounds of copyright here and completely doing a bad faith fair use analysis. Because any competent IP attorney would tell you that just grabbing two of the factors and only part of one of those two of the four factors is an incomplete analysis, and it's leaving out the critical element of the transformative nature of the work, which is, by the way, the controlling element for most of these things. But that being said, since you've left out the transformative nature of the work, I think you know what's going on. I'm not going to call it intentional. Right now, you're trying to word your letter in a way that is to intimidate moi. What you will learn very soon is I don't take well to intimidation. It doesn't work on me. And I will punish you through operant conditioning. I will show you the error of your ways. All right, here we go. Law News Inc. has reserved all of its rights in its works under copyright and has not authorized you or RL YouTube channel to reproduce, publish, provide, distribute, transmit, display, publicly perform, or otherwise make any use of such works. Thank God fair use doesn't actually care about any of that, because I'm not using your work. I'm making something new. Therefore, RL YouTube channel's use of these works is a clear infringement of Law News Inc.'s copyrights in violations of sections 106 and 501 of the Federal Copyright Act. Not true. Law News Inc. treats copyright infringement as a very serious matter and fully enforces its rights against infringers. Here's the amazing thing. Should Law News Inc., Law and Crime, have any commentary associated with any of this? Should they have any artistic work added to any of their live streams beyond the barest of factual retelling or recounting or capturing of what happened? I would immediately skip, edit, remove that part. I don't want to hear anything anyone at Law and Crime has to say about any of this. I'm interested in the facts and the news absent of their representations of those facts. I am interested in the factual nature of what they're broadcasting. If they were to have analysts on, I would probably have to find a different stream. If they were to have legal commentary during a break, I would mute it. I would remove it from the screen, as I do with any of the channels that have that. I'm not interested in what they have to say. So with that said, let's move on here. Please also be advised that RL YouTube channel's use of the infringing content is also an explicit violation of YouTube's live streaming policies. No, it isn't. Not even close. It is, but see, here it is. here's what they're saying, right? They know they're not going to win at this in court. This is why I'm talking about ricadalaw.locals.com, because it's very possible that they will false strike my channel for copyright. And it will be a false strike, which, by the way, is not only a violation of YouTube's policies, but is a violation of federal fucking law. You pussies. You absolute jokes. Bad faith and false copyright strikes is copyright abuse and is against the law and is a violation of YouTube's terms of service. And if you do it, well, I'll be forced to respond in kind. It is increasingly important that you also understand that the majority of Law and Crimes live feeds that Ricada Law YouTube channel has used in its infringing content are privately owned by Law News Inc. Don't care. They're publicly broadcast. You're publicly broadcasting them. You're publishing them, which diminishes your fair use defense, it increases my fair use defense by a massive amount. I'm not stealing your unpublished works. I'm not grabbing something that you're not showing to the world, something that you've kept privately. No, you broadcast it to the world, which opens it up for commentary, criticism, parody, and anything else that would make it transformative use. And I would encourage you to take notes from Sargon and Aquila on what will happen if you choose this route. I would encourage you to take notes on that, because I will not back down from this, because I am in the right. And I think you know that. Are not part of a pool, and any individual or entity that seeks to use such privately owned content must first obtain explicit permission from Law News Inc. This distinction must be understood by you. This is very, very interesting, because I don't think this is actually true. Basically, what Law and Crime is arguing is that every time I have used a Law and Crime stream, that they are the sole owners of the content and that they are not a pooled owner content, which means, as I explained earlier, that that some of these companies, right? They let's see. They petition, these media companies petition for the right of access to the trial, right? Let's see. Here we go. Let's talk about this. I mean, maybe they're lying here. Court TV to air Kyle Rittenhouse trials in its entirety. How and when to watch. Court TV will be airing the trial of Wisconsin versus Kyle Rittenhouse in its entirety in the months ahead. The trial is scheduled to begin on November 1st. You can watch on over-the-air channel 4.3, blah, blah. As with the Derek Chauvin murder trial this spring, Court TV will work with court officials to install its cameras in the courtrooms. In addition, Court TV will cover the proceedings live and in their entirety with its team of experienced legal experts. So I'm kind of curious, because I believe that the Court TV and Law and Crime streams were the exact same throughout the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. If I remember correctly, they were the exact same, except for the Law and Crime feed was usually of lower quality and had weird internet issues. So saying they're not part of a pool might not be true. You may have made a material misrepresentation in your letter, but I'm willing to be shown otherwise. This distinction must be understood by you. Again, it won't actually matter because you still broadcast them to the world, and those broadcasts are subject to be used in fair use. They're published. They're not unpublished works. Here we go. It is also alleged that various subscribers and or supporters of Ricada Law YouTube channel have either spammed Law and Crime's YouTube channel chat or put into the Ricada Law YouTube chat various comments referring to Law and Crime employees as retarded and mentally disabled. Are you? As well as other unacceptable statements. Well, I'm sorry about what the chat does in response to you, but that's not me. You can only hold me accountable for my words, which you will attempt to do so here. This unbecoming and intolerable behavior is supplemented by your own choice words on one of your live streams. Well, let's make it two now, which referred to Law and Crime as fucking pussies. Well, are you fucking pussies? You fucking pussies? For having removed its live feed that you were infringing at the moment. There's the admission, by the way. I didn't actually know. It seemed like they removed it because of me, but lots of people were like, hey, maybe it could have been something else. It could have been anything else. Apparently, it wasn't anything else. Although you may not be responsible for the actions of your subscribers, I am not. You are responsible for your own behavior and your unprofessional, fuck you, unseemly, you cunt, and misguided comments towards Law and Crime directly influence and encourage your subscribers to engage in the aforementioned repulsive behavior and will not be tolerated. No, they don't, you dumb motherfuckers. Nothing I do encourages anybody. In fact, I explicitly discourage people from doing anything towards you at all. The only person doing this is you. You are acting like dumb pieces of shit, like stupid pieces of garbage, and people respond to that. That's the problem that you have. An unprofessional, you haven't even seen anywhere near unprofessional. Not even close. Actually, all of my comments are very professional. I'm not responding to you in official documents. I'm not emailing your lawyers and counsel. We're not in negotiations here, you bitches. We're in shock jock territory, baby. I get to say whatever the fuck I want about you because this is commentary. This is the First Amendment, and this is radio, motherfuckers. Old school. You don't get to censor me. You don't get to call me unprofessional. I get paid to make fun of people like you, and I will accept all the money that comes in every time I call you a stupid piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you. This behavior is further encouraged by your tweets directed at Law and Crime, which tweets consistently contain false information and often lead to your supporters spamming Law and Crime's Twitter. I do not believe there is any false information in those tweets. I would love to be informed about what information is false. I would love to know. Why don't you tell me? Why don't you tell me what information is false? You had this whole letter. You got plenty of room. You could have compiled some false information that's consistent of all the times I've tweeted you, which I think in total is 4. But you didn't. Why? Oh, that's right. There is misinformation happening here. Despite all of this, Law and Crime is prepared to try and resolve this matter amicably. Well, here, let me tell you right now, before I read on Law and Crime, how you can resolve this amicably. Back the fuck into your lane and go away. There's my offer for you, Law and Crime. Amicable departure from this course of action involves the only hostile party here getting back in its fucking lane. You should try it. Because I didn't do this to you. You did this to you. You started this. You did this. I'm just over here, a humble live stream merchant, just shilling my wares on the YouTubes. Not infringing on your content. You know, based on any reasonable fair use analysis, that what I'm doing is perfectly fine. You know that you're not actually artistically or materially contributing to the factual content you're reporting. And by my reporting on the same factual content, that I'm not infringing on your work when I do add significant amounts of commentary that cannot be found anywhere on your channel. So you know that you're incorrect here. So you can kindly back off and do anything else with your life than what you're doing right now. That's the only amicable solution, because any other solution is me being subservient to your demands, which is not amicable, not acceptable, and not going to happen. Your demands are shit. You know they're shit. So no, you have the counteroffer. It's on the table. Go away. Never send another thing. Don't ever bitch at me again. And that'll be fine. I don't care about you. The only reason I ever even mentioned you is because someone told one of my viewers, someone from your network, your organization, your corporate structure, told one of my viewers who was laughing about it that you guys don't like what I'm doing. And I said, well, that's too bad. Lots of people don't like activity that is perfectly legal. That doesn't give you any right to do anything about it. And it certainly doesn't give you any rights here. So go on now. Very easy to amicably resolve this by you just walking away. But that's the only counteroffer that has any merit here. Provided, now you've put conditions on it that I'm not going to accept. That RL YouTube channel cooperates fully with Law and Crime and establishes to its satisfaction that RL YouTube channel's publication of the infringing content were errors of judgment and not a systematic effort to profit from Law News's intellectual property. No, there was no systematic effort to profit from your intellectual property. It was a systematic effort to profit from my intellectual property. The transformative nature of the work is my intellectual property. I hope you understand that. I mean, surely you do. We therefore request that RL YouTube channel and any other associated platforms do the following. Immediately cease and desist from all further production, reproduction, publishing, and display of materials that infringe Law News Inc.'s networks. Destroy all such infringing materials in its inventory or otherwise in its possession or control, including all copies in electronic or printed form. Okay, here we go. To the first one. Already done. Already done. I've never produced, reproduced, published, or displayed any material that infringe your works because fair use isn't infringement. So one's done. Okay, cool. Number 2, destroy all such infringing materials. Since I haven't ever infringed your works, done. 3, immediately cease and desist from any direct or indirect encouragement of your subscribers, followers to spam any Law and Crime related properties, including but not limited to Law and Crime's YouTube channel and related chat and Twitter. Done. I've never done that, you dummies. I've never encouraged any of this. Your people did this. not me. Again, people have their own minds. The only time I've ever mentioned I didn't even ask for retweets. I didn't ask for any of that. You guys responded to people, and then those responses got ratioed into the dirt. That's on you. I didn't ask anybody to do it, and I never would. Immediately cease and desist from any direct or indirect defamation, slander, or libel aimed at law and crime. I'm not aware of any defamation of that very public entity. I'd be curious what would be defamatory. That would be fun. That would be fun to find out. You and RL YouTube channel are specifically advised that any failure or delay in complying with these demands will likely compound damages for which you and RL YouTube channel may be liable. Well, compounding zeros is still zero. Accordingly, we ask that RL YouTube channel or its counsel promptly provide Law News Inc. with written confirmation that RL YouTube channel will comply with these demands. If we do not receive a satisfactory response by the close of business on January 24th, 2022, and you will, Law News Inc. is prepared to take all steps necessary to protect its valuable intellectual property rights without further notice to you or RL YouTube channel. And this is where these guys are setting up, again, the YouTube-based attack. Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to do a YouTube-based attack on my channel. But I have not done anything wrong. And Law and Crime knows it. The above is not an exhaustive statement of all the relevant facts in law. No, it sure isn't. It's not even close. And Law News Inc. expressly reserves all of its equitable and legal rights and remedies, including the right to seek injunctive relief and recover monetary damages. We appreciate your anticipated cooperation. Sincerely, Eric P. Slater, Esquire, In-House Counsel, Law News Inc. So there we have it. That is the current cease and desist letter from Law and Crime, who they lied right at the beginning of the letter. I hope you caught that. They said that Law News Inc. would be referred to hereinafter as Law and Crime, but they referred to it as Law News Inc. Very, very, very shady lie that they did there. But let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead. What the hell? I don't know what that is. Here we go. I apparently lost I lost a viewer permanently, but I don't know why. They sent me a link to one of my videos, so we'll see. I'll figure that out later. Let's do a. How do we do this? Here we go. Let's do a fair use. Hold on. Let's talk about the factors of fair use. Well, first, I should probably catch up on the many super chats that have come in. Let me do that real quick. Rescue Michigan. Hey, what's up, man? From Rescue Michigan. It says, shocker, I know, but YouTube doesn't register your stream as live on my homepage, even though I hit the bell. That's probably, I didn't know what was going on until today. I just knew that my results appeared to have been suppressed recently. I have a feeling it's due to what I would consider to be a coordinated flagging campaign going on my channel, probably from the Law and Crime Network. If I had to guess, that's what's going on. I'm betting every time I create a live stream link, it is already flagged as offensive or inappropriate or something. But I'm sure Law and Crime wouldn't be doing that at all. But yes, my live stream results the past couple days just really when this kind of cropped up, shockingly started to be suppressed. And man, it just sure seems like the timing coincides when all this came about. I don't know. I can't prove it, but it just, the timing is very, very interesting on that. He says, please give us a way to support you with live chats that doesn't feed the beast. Moved my channel to Rumble at 2 strikes. I'm on Odyssey. Odyssey is a way to do it. I may get on Rumble eventually, but managing all this stuff is the more you're managing is a pain. Mo Jorison says, your conservative equals your effed. Here's some clams for the lawyer. Anywho. Carrie Phillips says, I started with Long Family, found you again after Kyle. No one gives a shit about Long Crime except for, and it doesn't say anything, but it says, I personally enjoy you and your panel. Keep up the great work. We love you. Thank you, Carrie Phillips. I appreciate that. C Goody 564 says, I told you how to check in both Discord and Twitter DMs earlier if you filtered in a YouTube chat. I know you did, but I'm not going to waste my time going in and checking on the Law and Crime thing by opening a whole bunch of windows to do some weird ninjutsu. I left one comment on Law and Crime's live stream one time. That's it. I have no reason to disbelieve a bunch of people telling me that the comments didn't show up anywhere and that their comments don't show up. I didn't ask anybody to go do that. People just did. Dave T. Gitt says, never surrender, never give up the ship rackets. Don Musial, thank you for the donation. I hear that your chat was filtered, but it's been sent to me on Discord. I'll check it in just a second. Alfredo Saucedo says, where did I lost it? Just a second. Hey, Nick, whenever you have time and want to watch something new, check out Arcane. It's actually really good. You don't have to play the game to enjoy it. Thank you, Alfredo. Nikuyasha says, Nick, don't tell me what to do. Now tell me how I can follow you on other platforms so I can hear you make fun of Karens. Super Iron Bob says, opinions are my own is a signal that the person is a massive tool and their opinion should be attributed to their employer and every other person involved with them. Ola Kyle says, I only discovered and subscribed to Law and Crime because I found them through Ricada Law. Nick is bringing eyes to what they provide and increase their views and subs. I will now find another network to watch for trials. Steve C says, local supporter, blah, 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 a little extra for the fight. Hey, thank you, Steve C. Heel versus Babyface is 100% of the time. I'm using them 60% of the time. Bookham Dano says, their stream derivative and not copyright written. It might actually be. Don Musial says, take your swing, Law and Crime. Take your swing. Matt Thompson says, for the Ted Baker bow tie fun. William Foley says 1/20/22, the date Nick became the Kurt Russell Wyatt Earp meme. Mike the Dad Crosby says bump for the shock jock territory. Swade's Lounge says, I want this lawsuit so bad it would be entertainment for weeks. I don't want a lawsuit. Very, very clear. I don't want a lawsuit. Yes, I'll get the message from Kalea on Discord. I mentioned that. I don't want to do a lawsuit. I just want to go on doing my show, making fun of weirdos and watching trials. That's all I want to do. in a way that I know to be legal 100%. Super Iron Bob says, for the F-bombs, they make the PP hard. Gnome John says, will law and crime succeed in making rackets stop? I doubt it. Let's see them take their swing. Sold at says, stay in your lane, Abrams. John Burgoon says, man, don't stop fighting. This is BS, and they know it. Uncivil Law says, dear Law and Crime, I'm prepared to testify against Nick for a reasonable fee in my own show on your network. Great Loner says, here's more money I will gladly give to you that Law and Crime shall never see from me. Cope and Sneed, fat mads. Diablo says, for the Law and Crime war chest, may you and Mr. Birch triumph over these fools as gentlemen do. By suing the snot out of them, I will toast to your future victory and proving that fair use is a thing once again. Mike, the Dad Crosby, says, viewer was probably butthurt that so many joined the subliminal order. Razor390 says, if they take you to court, can they live stream it from the court camera feeds so you can provide live commentary on their trial feed? It'll be trialception for real. Hydrogen Hayes says, cope harder, law news. Ew. Touch grass, Verge. Cookie says, keep your cards close to you, man. Save the fair use analysis for the courtroom. Here's some for the war chest. Keep up the good fight. No, I don't. I don't keep cards close. We'll go ahead and do this in the open because here's the trick. The fair use analysis, I'm gonna go through it for the educational purposes of the show. They know this. They know this analysis. They've probably done it, and they know that I'm correct. So let's go through this. We're going to borrow the Stanford Library fair use primer, and we'll talk about it as we go. From Stanford, measuring fair use, the 4 factors. Unfortunately, the only way to get a definitive answer of whether your particular use is fair is to have it resolved in federal court. This is true. There is no bright line, easy analysis for fair use because the nature of every copyright infringement is completely different and is entirely fact sensitive and fact specific. Now, there are guidelines and factors, specifically these 4 factors. It's a non-exhaustive list of factors, but it's the primary 4 factors that are considered for fair use. And with it, they're what judges use as guidelines. But remember that always, a fair use defense is a defense, and that defense is being lensed through a judge's interpretation of it. Even if it's right, judges sometimes have different ideas of things, and all you can do is try and get as razor close to the to some other sort of analogous thing that's in your favor as possible. But you have to make the arguments, and this is how you make them. All right. So it's very important to know that the only way to fully resolve it is in court. Most of these things are resolved with the parties either agreeing in some way or with one party backing off, because these get very, very expensive. Oh, I need to do 2 things. I need to do the Discord and the Odyssey chats. Radicalized Ryan is sending some Odyssey bucks, an Odyssey coin, an Odyssey coin comet, and a Libri coin comet. Malik Foxon says, Law and Crime is fucking retarded, and they clearly think Rekieta is our dad, apparently. Looking forward to your ripping Law and Crime a new one as this goes on. 5x5 says, Law and Cucking. Mark Gee says, never heard of Law and Crime before watching you. Was going to occasionally watch their streams. Nick was free advertisement. Zendu says, Law and Crime said this would work. Nick, consider this a cease and desist to being late and gay. Great US says, reminder to Super Chat on YouTube to support Nick without feeding the beast. Odyssey equals 5% and Rumble equals 20%. Great US says, also YouTube mods tongue kiss Abrams ass and glowy company. So there you go. Thank you. Thank you for that to the Odyssey chatters. Mike says, feeding this kid again. Here's my entrance fee. Honest question. Your first answer on all these legal issues for everyone else is to shut up and not talk about it. Obviously hard for a channel like yours. Why? Well, look, most people don't have a giant platform to utilize in their things, to do this with. I am being attacked by a multi-million-dollar media enterprise. And so if I'm going to be attacked by a multi-million dollar media enterprise, then I will fight back with every ounce of media enterprise I can muster back at them. One of the tactics of corporate entities versus individuals usually is to isolate and intimidate individuals. Well, when you have a platform where you have the opportunity to resist that, my personal opinion is that many people should utilize that platform. Dick Masterson did this against Maddox. Other people have done the same, because you are just an individual by yourself. But when there are thousands to hundreds of thousands of people backing you up, it looks a little bit different to the corporate entity that thought they were going after just some person. So that's my take on it. The message from Don Musial was, thanks, been watching for months. Thank you, Don Musial. I really appreciate that donation there. So yeah. As for me, I fight in public. I don't fight in private. There's not a lot of benefit for me to fighting in private, but there's a whole lot of benefit for fighting in public. And especially in this case, where what I am accused of doing is open and obvious, what could I possibly admit to that would do more damage than what I've allegedly done, right? I have openly used law and crime streams. Of course I have. Now I'm transforming them, and I don't think that they have super protectable interests already. But that being said, I've done it overtly and openly. It's not done behind closed doors. It's in public. So what am I going to do? Admit to doing it? Well, I already have by just doing the streams that are still up. So I'm certainly not going to change tactics there and go underground. It doesn't seem to make any sense to do that. If you have platforms, you should always consider how you can best utilize those platforms. People who don't have platforms, by the way, hire PR firms for the similar purposes. Mike says, then you are not alone. Fight on. Hey, thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. Okay, back to this. So judges use the 4 factors, blah, blah. Here are the 4 factors, okay? The purpose and character of your use, the nature of the copyrighted work, the amount and substantiality of the portion taken, and the effect of the use on the potential market. So let's go to this. Educational fair use guidelines. I'm not an educational organization, probably under the Copyright Act. However, I would make an argument that I am if this were to go to court. But it's probably not the strongest argument. It would be a more novel approach. But the transformative factor. I mean, I would argue that people got a more thorough education on the Wisconsin criminal justice system through Kyle Rittenhouse than they would pretty much anywhere else on the planet through this channel specifically. So, I mean, I would suggest that significant amounts of the work were for a very overt educational purpose, and that educational purpose was achieved. But whether or not that would hold up in court, I think it would be a more novel approach, because I think there's some statutory definitions there. What do we have here? A present in StreamYard from Ryan. I can't see it. Oh, is it just this? Hey, there we go. RicadaLawn.locals.com. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. I didn't know what you were talking about there, but I'm guessing it's that. Okay. So the transformative factor, the purpose and character of your use. And this is, in many ways, the most important factor that there is. All of the factors matter. This one, some factors are more equal than others. In a 1994 case, the Supreme Court emphasized this first factor as being an important indicator of fair use. At issue is whether the material has been used to help create something new or merely copied verbatim into another work. When taking portions of copyrighted work, ask yourself the following questions. Has the material you have taken from the original work been transformed by adding new expression or meaning? Yes. Was value added to the original by creating new information, new aesthetics, new insights, and understandings? Yes. In a parody, for example, the parodist transforms the original by holding it up to ridicule. At the same time, a work does not become a parody simply because the author models characters after those found in a famous work. Purposes such as scholarship, research, or education may also qualify as transformative uses because the work is a subject of review or commentary. Yes. Yes. Determining what is transformative and the degree of transformation is often challenging. For example, the creation of a Harry Potter encyclopedia was determined to be slightly transformative because it made the Harry Potter terms and lexicons available in one volume, but this transformative quality was not enough to justify a fair use defense in light of the extensive verbatim use of text from the Harry Potter books. Okay, so is the work transformative? I mean, just use your eyes and ears. Is it different than what Law and Crime is doing? Obviously it is. Obviously it's different. I can't see how you could argue credibly that what I am doing is not transformative. Jason McConnell says, look at me. I am Law and Crime now. Shri SR says, force myself to stay awake for this. Started doing other things and forgot you were doing this. Anyway, F Law and Crime. Now I'll miss you reading this because I'm going to bed. Good night, Nick. Hey, good night, Shri. Hopefully I caught you before you left. I wanted to make sure since I saw it. Mandy Karavichus says, who's attacking you, Nick? I'll beat them up for you. Well, please don't do anything for me to anybody else. I wouldn't want to be accused of being a bully, directing other bullies to beat up on poor little innocent multi-million-dollar network Law and Crime run by multi-millionaire Dan Abrams of the multi-millionaire Abrams family. I wouldn't want to be accused of bullying the Abrams family. I wouldn't want to be accused of bullying a fucking multi-million-dollar network. Can you believe this shit? These absolute betas. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so the question is transformative. Has it been transformed by adding new expression or meaning? Well, I don't know. I think an actual legal analysis to the bare facts of what's going on in a case is transformative, right? In one instance, you're getting bare facts that are being relayed to you by video. That's what Law and Crime is doing. And it's actually a great service. Like I said, I wasn't lying. I wasn't lying when I was thanking them for what they do. What they do is great. It's wonderful. We're getting access to trials in a way that we've never had before. And part of that is because of Law and Crime. Great job. But that's what they do. What I do is add a ton of commentary, both comedic and educational, sometimes not comedic, sometimes cringe commentary, right? Let's be honest. But I do something different. I add significantly to the work and it makes it a different product. So then was value added to the original by creating new information, new aesthetics, new insights, and understandings? I think so. People are learning about the legal process. People are thinking about trial strategies and stuff like that based on suggestions from me and the panel, based on our training, experience, and education. So I would say, yeah, there's value added there. And it's significant value. It costs a lot to get our degrees. It costs a lot to run our businesses and our practices. It's all of that is value that we're imparting into this product. Tony K says, just because I'm old and getting tired of this crap from corporate media, if you ever need a contact in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, let me know. Limited time though, looking to move to Tennessee within the next couple of years. Good luck. Hey man, I enjoy being warmer. All right, so here we go to the nature of the copyrighted work. So this is the next portion. Because the dissemination of facts or information benefits the public, you have more leeway to copy from factual works, such as biographies, than you do from fictional works, such as plays or novels. In addition, you'll have a stronger case of fair use if you copy the material from a published work than an unpublished work. Scope of fair use is narrower for unpublished works because an author has the right to control the first public appearance of his or her expression. Well, let's see. Is this factual or creative? It's entirely factual. It is 100, it's 99% factual in the fact that there may be some creative value in the literal settings on the camera for ISO, white balance, and the focusing, right? That is like a 1% of the thing. And Law and Crime may not actually be in control of all of that. So is it factual or creative? It's almost entirely factual to a massive extent. Then the next part is it published? Well, obviously it's published. It's being broadcast live to the world. So yes, it's published. Done. They control their first appearance. And then I am borrowing from what they're doing. The amount and substantiality of the portion taken. The less you take, the more likely your copying will be excused as fair use. However, even if you take a small portion of the work, your copying will not be fair use if the portion is taken is the heart of the work. In other words, you're more likely to run into problems if you take the most memorable aspect of a work, etc., etc., etc. The rule, less is more, is not necessarily true in parody cases. A parodist is permitted to borrow quite a bit, even at the heart of the original work, in order to conjure up the original work, etc. So this factor could tip into Law and Crime's favor because I'm using the entirety of the work. But it's you're supposed to use the minimum amount necessary for the purposes of the transformative work. Well, if the minimum amount necessary is all of the factual information that occurs, then I'd say it's a wash at best. But maybe this favors. Maybe this one favors Law and Crime just because I'm using the majority, if not the entirety of the work. But that's because the majority and the entirety of the work is necessary for the commentary, review, and criticism that's going on. So we've got the big one in favor, the next one in favor, the third one either a wash or tipping towards Law and Crime. The fourth one, effect of the use on the potential market. Dr. Spoon says, are we going to see in the future corporate media versus LawTube? Oh, yeah. It's not just LawTube. It's any independent journalism. Any independent reporting is going to be under attack from corporate media because we do it better. We do it better. Val DeJean says the fact that you cut out their commentary literally shows that you only use what is necessary for your transformative work. That's correct. If they do any commentary, I cut it out. If they have like some break screen or whatever, I cut it out. I don't want anything from them. I don't go searching out their commentary. I don't recreate it. I don't reproduce it. Okay, so finally, the effective use upon the potential market. Another important factor is whether your use deprives the copyright owner of income or undermines a newer potential market for the copyrighted work. Depriving a copyright owner of income is very likely to trigger a lawsuit. I haven't deprived Law and Crime of a single dollar. Not one. This is true even if you are not competing directly with the original work. I'm not competing directly or indirectly with the original work. They're two completely different products. People who are watching my show are watching it for me. People who want just the bare facts of the case and they want to make up their own minds absent any commentary. They don't want the insight, education, or perspective that I might offer because I don't know, maybe they're already an attorney or maybe they don't like my perspective or any reason at all. They're watching Law and Crime or whomever. Maybe they're watching Court TV because they're literally broadcasting the same thing. Maybe that's what's going on. But I'm not competing. They're different products. And I don't want people watching my show, as I've said, who don't want the commentary and analysis that I provide. Someone else should go there. They should go to Law and Crime. For example, in one case, an artist used a copyrighted photograph without permission as a basis for wood sculptures, copying all the elements of the photo. Let's see. Yeah, that's a completely unanalogous situation. And then parody. I don't know that what I'm doing would constitute as parody in any way. I'm not mocking Law and Crime or their use or whatever. And this isn't de minimis defense. The fifth fair factor use: are you good or bad? When you review fair use cases, you may find that they sometimes contradict one another, conflict with the rules expressed in this chapter. Fair use involves subjective judgments, often affected by factors such as a judge or jury's personal sense of right or wrong. Despite the fact the Supreme Court has indicated that offensiveness is not a fair use factor, you should be aware that a morally offended judge or jury may rationalize its decision against fair use. For example, in one case, a manufacturer of novelty cards parodied the successful children's dolls Cabbage Patch Kids. It was entitled The Garbage Pail Kids, if you guys remember that, and used gruesome and grotesque names and characters to poke fun at the wholesome Cabbage Patch image. Some copyright experts were surprised when a federal court considered the parody an infringement, not a fair use. So if you remember the Garbage Pail Kids, that's what happened to them. But that being said, so certainly, there can always be a judge who doesn't like what I do or say. That's fine. But that's about it. If you want to learn more about what Stanford has to say about fair use, you can go ahead and check it out at Stanford Library's copyright fair use page. There's a whole bunch of different fair use sort of guides on the internet. They're really easy summaries that help you suss through the law, the statutory and case law that's out there, because that gets to be really thick reading. So we're not going to go through that. Those summaries are useful, they're helpful, and they help conceptualize what fair use is. YouTube has a guide on fair use that largely mirrors all of these other resources as well, because they're the basics of it. It's sort of foundational to fair use, this type of analysis. But let's review this really quickly. Is it transformative? Yes. The nature of the copyrighted work. Was it factual or creative? It's factual. That favors me. Was it published or unpublished? It's published. That favors me as well. The amount and substantiality of the portion taken, this one might actually go towards Law and Crime, because I use so much of the content. When I do use their content, I absolutely use the amount necessary, but I would remove any commentary that they do or anything that would come close to what I'm doing in my analysis. I'm not interested in that. I'm using the recitation of the bare facts that are being reproduced visually over the internet by the Law and Crime feed. So what I am not taking from them is any artistic work at all. That's very important. And if that artistic work shows up, I remove it immediately. But it is a substantial amount that is being used. So that might fall into their favor. And then finally, the effective use on the potential market. Again, we're two different markets. We're entirely different markets. And Law and Crime is not doing what I'm doing. It's a completely transformative product. So there you go. I guess you could, to be honest, you could argue that there's some maybe effect on the potential market. I'm not sure what that effect would be, but in the worst case, I would think it would be a push. It'd be a push. It'd be sort of equal between the two of us. But again, when you get down to it, the most important factor typically is the transformative nature of the work. And we've got that in spades. So there is that. Whew. So with that, let me give my preliminary response to Law and Crime. And there will be a follow-up video summarizing this. My preliminary response to Law and Crime is going to be short and sweet. Fuck off. Fuck off. fuck off. There you go. That's my preliminary response. Now they have given me until January 24th to respond by a written response, which will be done by my attorney, Mr. Stephen Birch. He will be in contact with you, Law and Crime, and he will lay out our personal thoughts on your assertions and your allegations in your letter, and what our understanding of the law is. But I do not respond well to intimidation. I will not back down from a corporate bully who knows. Who knows? Your entire career is built on news reporting and using other imagery, using factual recitations of what's going on. This is what Mediaite does. But I will not be bullied by someone who is, let's be honest, just butthurt that they got blown out on views on Kyle Rittenhouse. You're just mad that you got absolutely buried on views. But here's the thing, Law and Crime. You didn't get buried because I was using your feed, which your Rittenhouse feed was garbage, by the way. You didn't get buried because I was using your feed. You got buried because people came to my channel for something they couldn't possibly get at yours. A wildly different product. You know who else got buried? Everybody. PBS, Fox, Court TV, everybody in the end got buried by the views we were able to generate. And that's because we created something that no one else had and no one else had seen. I attribute most of that to my awesome panel of experts who joined me. But you couldn't do it. So if you think in the absence of me, you would have gotten some massive boost. No. More people were watching PBS than you. And PBS was giving the same nothing that you were. So stop being salty. You don't offer the right product that people wanted at that time. You do on several other occasions. But people wanted more on Rittenhouse. It was a case of national import. It was a case of intrigue. It was a case of political disparity. It was a case that had a corporate media lying about it for a year. It was a case that struck at people's heartstrings. And you didn't talk about any of that. But we did. It's a different product. You know it is. And that's why we beat you on views. But on other cases, I mean, heck, your coverage of Chandler Halderson is crushing mine. I don't have anywhere close to the views you guys are getting on that. Why? It's a different case. Different case for a different time. But that being said, stop being salty. There's always someone with more views than you. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game. You guys sell a different product and you're doing just fine. Trying to stamp out an individual creator because you're butthurt that they beat you one time is pathetic. It's unbecoming and it's unprofessional, to borrow your stupid fucking words, you idiots. Dustman Aroach says, can you copyright a public trial? If so, can a lawyer or witness sue for their portion of the work since their words, testimony are their intellectual property and performance? When you record something, you basically gain some level of copyright in it when you commit it to a recorded medium. So there's some level there, but the question is, how much they're able to enforce that becomes very, very sketchy very, very quickly. All right. So anyway, that's the that's the educational aspect of this. I'll indicate down here. Thank you to my man Ryan, ricadalaw.locals.com, just in case Law and Crime decides to be stupid and try to use Papa YouTube on this one. Just in case they do that, that is where you can find any updates. You can also get notifications for streams every night, but ironically tonight, because I forgot I forgot to put it on there tonight. I was getting everything else in order. But typically speaking, you'll find a notification there. It sends out notifications even when YouTube does not. There's also exclusive content over on Locals that you can find if you're into that sort of thing. But this is where you can go sign up for free and just make sure you get your notifications for whatever may happen if Law and Crime decides to pursue this ridiculous course of action. With that, there are many super chats to read, and then we'll wrap up the show. 8:30 a.m. tomorrow, the Theodore Edgecombe, 8:30 a.m. Central Time, the Theodore Edgecombe trial will resume. It's getting earlier, but I will be there. It's getting early, but I'll be there 8:30 in the morning for the Theodore Edgecombe trial's resumption. Oh, actually, no, I will not be there. Let me correct that right now. Tomorrow, I have a teaching obligation. I have a teaching obligation in the morning. So the Theodore Edgecombe trial will pick up somewhere around 10:15 a.m. Central Time. Sorry. 10:15 a.m. Central Time. We will go back to the beginning though, and then I'll speed it up through the breaks and we'll catch back up. But we will still be covering the full trial of Theodore Edgecombe. So, as best I am able. I'll have to probably figure that out, but we'll figure it out, and that'll be there. All right, but it'll have to start at 10:15 a.m. because I will, I will not be here. I will be teaching. But that being said, thank you for watching tonight. I appreciate all of the support that you guys have given me today, of course, and consistently give me. It is really heartening to see that coming from this community of people who have come together for no reasons I can discern or determine. But I do appreciate that you guys keep showing up every single day. So know that I do not back down from fights like this. I have no reason to, and Law and Crime is completely in the wrong here. So thank you. We're going to read these super chats, and starting with a couple of the Odyssey chats that also came in. Del Frickin' Tree says, "Great US is still a total N-word." Great US says, "Del Frickin' Tree said Great US is still a total N-word." Voice Alley Trash Can Dad. I doubt it. So there you go. True Anana Shabada Bad Pressure Bad Calf Care says sent a nose. Thank you for that. G says this should be just be a drink-a-thon stream with the panel, respectfully. Not tonight. Maybe a different night. If I didn't have to get up and teach, maybe. We the Rabble says I own the actors in that recording by way of tax dollars, public domain, suck at Law and Crime. If not for Ricada Law, I wouldn't know your name. Ricada Law is a product unto its own. I vote not guilty. Thank you. Much, much appreciated. Eclipse Warlord says, hail Ricada in chat. Murphy's Pool says, Tim Pool hired Jack Murphy as security. He has Jack wearing his leather gimp outfit at the front gate to deter swatters. Black Hall Manor says, Nick, I wanted to thank you again for your suggestion of Michter's Rye. Local stores only had the US 1 single barrel, which is still very good despite being at bottom of their lineup. Smokin says, I had relations with Jack's significant other. Black Hall Manor says, in return, may I suggest Barrel Craft Spirits Seagrass Rye, which is finished in Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels. It is cast strength at 59.6 ABV, so have a few drops of water ready. Thank you, Black Hall Manor. I'll keep a look for it. I haven't seen Barrelcraft in my area before, but always happy to keep an eye out. Mario Carter says it's like getting copy struck by C-SPAN. Yes, and the lunacy of being copy struck by C-SPAN is, well, it's lunacy. Terry the Tough Cunt says, "You need me to fight anyone, bro?" No, I don't need anyone to fight for me. I will happily do the fighting. I mainly always just want to give people a place where they can go should this tomfoolery commence. Anani 14107 says, "Could Dan Abrams be a member of the Liminal Order?" And yes, I'm following Nick on Locals. Well, thank you, Anani. He could be. I have no idea. Kyle Bogus says, "Wreck these effing nerds." Irish Pub says, "Here's $5 for copyright attorneys and copyright attorney accessories." MTPO says, "Screw law and crime." Drunk Shovel says, "Never capitulate, fight until the bitter end." Some internet dude says, "Is this the part where you elbow drop law and crime through a table?" I don't know if I did that today, but sure. Arlanius says, "Been a good time, Nick. Screw copyright shenanigans." Dragon Slayer says, here we go. ASL interpreter, "My deaf friends want me to sign shows. Would I need to add comment if I was just interpreting? Closed caption is so wrong at times." I don't know. I don't know. That does seem transformative to me, but I can't honestly tell you the answer to that. That you'd want to hire an IP, an intellectual property specialist, or consult with one to get an answer. Francis Boulay says, "When your channel has more attraction, it's taken as a personal attack by those woke-topia twats and threatens their existence. Fully support you from Londonistan. Don't let your country fall." I'll try not to. Mike Irish says, "I got 99 problems, but Dan Abrams ain't one." Robin Sage says, "Feck Dan Abrams. He bowed to the BLM mob and canceled my favorite show, Live PD." Silver Dragonian says, "Go get them, rackets. You have done a great job." Nancy Dugan says, "Law and crime are criminals. Fight me, Binger." Cheryl Fodel says, "Birch or Birch? I'm former Birch. BURCH, Cheryl." Billy Boy Blue says, "You're the effing man, sir." Thank you. Did you just assume my gender? Leon's Law says, "I'd look into getting a preliminary injunction or TRO if you suspect they're going to DMCA you." JB says, "I watch Tim Pool, You Are Here, and Joe Rogan, but you have become my favorite podcast, so kick Dan Abrams' ass. Don't want to see you get taken down." Pika Warps says, "I'm glad I gave you the heads up so you could taunt them for the last 3 weeks before the notice. It's been glorious." Oh, thank you, Pika Warps. Silver Dragonian, thank you for the donation. Wildcat78 says, "Hey, rackets, rough night. My sister is sedated on a ventilator in the ICU with COVID. Things aren't looking good. Prayers would be appreciated." Oh, Wildcat, please. I hope that she pulls through okay. Be with her as best you can. I know they don't really let people in, but hopefully everything will turn around. There'll be some miraculous healing there. Aaron says, "Subbed during the lawsuit. Since Rittenhouse, your streams have become my main source of entertainment and education. Wishing you the best of this nonsense, and here's a dram on me. Cheers." Hey, thanks, Aaron. The God of Sleep 215 says, "Normally I try to put a dumb joke in this text box. Today, lol and cuck is the dumb joke. I watch the show for you, never for them. Keep it up." Billy Boy Blue, thank you for the donation. Rael says, "Law and crime. Hey, see that lawyer who knows a gaggle of lawyers? Let's legally threaten him for stealing our views by people who would never watch us anyway." Proton 21 says, "Law and crime. That's a channel that does expressive fart dancing to court TV, right?" Kyverdam says, "If you put your cursor over your chat message, if you don't see 3 vertical dots to the right of it, the message wasn't posted." Barb Rogers, Little Miss Sunburn, sent a sticker. Thank you. Runkle of the Bailey says, "And my bow." Oh, gosh. Whew. Uncivil Law says, "Okay, this is epic." Thank you. Guys, I'll be right back. We've got a whiskey peeing lawyer situation. Be right back.
He drank a fair bit and then realized that his bladder can't handle the liquor inside, leaving us with his chair while he runs up the stairs, hoping the stream doesn't suddenly die. While we are waiting, we'll be laughing at you. The drinking along is what most of us do. The chat is united, getting excited. What you have for us when your PM is through. When you have a small bladder and no sphincter control, freedom of liquor doesn't mean freedom from soaking your drawers. Now you're washing your hands and you realize that you've forgotten to scrub both the front and the back. Then you'll grab a quick bite, kiss your lady goodnight, and remember to thank her for all of the snacks. Whoa, water will cure your hangover. Oh, drink some when the stream is over. When you have small bladder and no sphincter control, freedom of liquor
All right. Sorry, there's always something. Even in the middle of the friggin' night, there's always something going on. Okay. Back to where we left off. Contrarian says, can Chandler get another charge of being indirectly an accomplice to this aggravated assault with serious injury on law and crime? Yes. Andrew War Snowboard says, and my cement truck. Teresa Hoisington says, hey, Karen Crime, don't be such a drama llama. There's enough courtroom crazy for everyone. Be happy the lawyer league and our judiciary are taking center stage on the internet. Don't be that guy. Barb Rogers, Little Miss Sunburn says, Law Slime Network. Lord Vader says, for dumpster trial, rename your channel Lawn Crime. Reagan Virostek says, Law and Crimea River. Tupac Shakur, I knew you were still alive. Welcome to paralegal status. Screw Tape Game says, did he just get Tim Pooled by Law and Crime? No. Eric Pozariki I should know how to pronounce this stuff. Says, can you say beta? The beta levels of Law and Crime are over 9,000. The Devil's Advocate says $2, says they claim a Lanham Act violation. Darth Crypto says, wait, did my replies burning them make it into the letter? Please, God, I hope so. No, not specifically, unless you called them retards. Mario Carter 13 says, Law and Crime, the judge ordered Ricada banned from stream. Oh my God, this is awesome. Lol says, we will avenge. MKEOD says, Kathy would like to speak with the internet's manager, Nick. Surprised she didn't tag the FCC in the tweet. Kiernath says, you should know leftists like Dan never follow their own principles. MKEOD says, the other day, some Karen got mad at stickers making fun of Joe Biden being put on meat at the store. She tagged the FDA in a tweet, foods manager. That's amazing. That is amazing. The Devil's Advocate says, did their actions equal tortious interference to you? No, they're not currently interfering with any of my contracts, but that could be an interesting claim if they were to do something against my channel in regards to YouTube. Very possible. Matt Skinner says, Law and Crime is like ticker tape from 70 years ago. Again, all they do, or all that I have seen them do, is just, base recounting of what's going on. Point camera and shoot. And in fact, as stated, they may not be even in charge of where the camera is pointed or where the camera is placed. MKEOD says, Mr. Ricada totally assumed your pronouns. Oh, I need to clarify something. I feel really bad about this. So Terry Wilson, who sent an email that said they were done watching me, that was, I misread what was going on. They copied me on a letter to Law and Crime, on their email to Law and Crime. So they were not actually done watching me. They were done watching Law and Crime. So they sent a follow-up to that. And so Terry, thank you very much. I was wondering what did I do? What did I say that could have made this person upset? I mean, I'm sure there's something, but thank you for clarifying that. I'm glad. I thought it was something for maybe a different video. I didn't, so that was great. Jesse says, signed up for locals, willing and able to help. Thank you very much. New dislike button says, Law and Crime pulling a little fresh and fit. It doesn't matter if you edit and cut up our stuff like it's Chandler's parents. You used our shit, not allowed, SMH. Lindsay says, Law and Crime streams are for comatose patients and Ricada laws for everyone else. The God of Sleep says, this isn't for Nick. Law and Crime, can you please make a live stream commenting on the stream? It would be transformative and we need to go deeper. Antimatter Redneck says, yo, Nick, can you countersue for Law and Crime salty tears? This Kentucky farm boy needs some road salt. I'll buy it from you. Make him cry that salty goodness. Josh says, if this does go to court, will it be live streamed? I don't know. Probably on the Court TV network. Bookham Dano says they're stream derivative and not copywritten. Maybe it's going to be fact specific to the individual stream. There may be streams where Court TV's cameras are the ones being used. I don't know. I have a strong suspicion that it's not on most of them. But I don't actually know yet. Leon's Law says, Nick, threatened shady attorney. Shady attorney laughs in malpractice insurance. Hitman 132I says, I will join your locals when you start broadcasting on Rumble. Z. Michael Gelke says, so Law and Crime is going to pull a fresh and fit by filing false DMCAs. I'm not saying that will happen. I'm saying that seems to be one of the options they're considering based on the language of their letter. Yikes. I guess that's what happens when people like Liminal Mindset encourage that behavior in the YouTube community. Barb Rogers, Little Miss Sunburn says, basically they are stealing content, claiming it as their own. Then they are claiming that you are stealing content that they obviously stole, lol. To be clear, I don't think they're stealing the content. I think they may be licensees when, like, let's say court TV cameras are the ones being used and Law and Crime is using the court TV feed because the judge has ordered that only one media presence gets to be in there. Because if you let every media person in, you're going to have 60 cameras in the room and that would be crazy, right? It takes up too much space. It interferes with it. Actually, the case that The Fugitive was based off of, the movie The Fugitive, wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. That movie, the case that was based off of, part of the problem, part of the reason that guy was eventually found not guilty or that it was mistrialed was because there was so much media influence that the lawyers were having to dodge cameras walking around the courtroom. So now they limit it to one feed and then broadcast that out and people get to pool up and all use the same feed. So they're not stealing in those instances, but they may not have any creative input on the work at all. They'd basically just be licensed to use the work. Mike Sullivan says, perhaps their upper management is upset that you have been making so many jokes about their esteemed leader, Jack. They're hoping to hold the next jacked brunch in their bottoms up. Barb Rogers says, Law and Slime, lol. Blade 2.0 says, Law and Crime could never survive a Halo 2 lobby. Never. David Stowe, thanks for the smiley faces. Eric Winberg sent salt. Torches ATL says, just because I've never donated and Law and Crime are a bunch of redacted. Pineapple Prime says, based rant. SF Giants fan Mike sent a donation. Thank you. BK says, money for that beautiful rant and despite them losers. Mario Carter 13 says, Nick, stop. Ligma Cux is already dead. Legendary Wizard says, take my money. You deserve every cent, big guy. Sergeant Politeness says, hail rackets, do me a favor. Call Law and Crime TV stupid fucking cunts and human garbage for me, please. Eat shit, Law and Crime TV. Much respect, rackets. So sure, to Law and Crime, because his voice is not able to come through. It has only come through by text. To Law and Crime from Sergeant Politeness. Law and Crime, you are stupid fucking cunts and human garbage. Eat shit, Law and Crime. There you go. That's from Sergeant Politeness. I would never say anything so uncouth. You pieces of garbage. Soldat says, stay in your lane, Abrams. Professor Chaos says, pissed off Nick is best Nick, but then again, it was two women you pissed off that obviously knew nothing about the law or how to do their jobs. Pendar, welcome to Paralegal Status. Born in 1979 says, Law and Crime, more like we don't get Law and Crime. Jamie, welcome to Paralegal Status as well. Doom Weapon 66 says, first ever super chat. Law and Crime could have been nice, but they decided to spurg. The chat lies undefeated, and so does the nose. Wish you luck, Nick. Yeah, I do want to point out that I have not seen anywhere a mere request or an some sort of reaching out to resolve things. They led with the cease and desist. That's what they chose. I'm not aware of it. I've looked. I mean, I guess I haven't looked through literally every possible angle, but I have not seen any direct messages or emails or regular mail or anything just saying, hey, there's a misunderstanding going on. We got this. What's up? Can we talk about this? Nothing like that has ever come through. Ever. So, again, this is what they chose. Melanie Hernandez says, thanks for popping my super chat, Jerry. Oh, hey, happy to always be the first on that one. Very important. Very important. You know what they say about the first one. It's the first cut is the deepest. Lost Valley says, wait, you're telling me the Edgecombe judge doesn't have jurisdiction over the entirety of the internet? No, he does not. And again, the only people who seem to think he does is Law and Crime, because the Edgecombe judge already knows. He already knows this is going to be on YouTube. Of course he knows that. He can't order the internet to not do something. Lost Valleys. Mufasa says Law News gotta be associates of Binger. JS says I'm a homeschool mom that listens to you all day. It's my first ever super chat. Law and Crime can suck it. Oh, hey, thanks, JS. Kevin Speaks on it says they drew first blood, not me. They drew first blood. Oxygen induced. I'm like Top Gun, baby. Do not fire until fired upon. Oxygen Induced says that letter had a disturbing lack of apostrophes. I like my baseless lawsuits with an overabundance of apostrophes. I Am Flag says we all hope this gets dropped, but you coming home and commenting your own case would be epic. David says, how do they know the people in their chat calling them retarded were from your chat? That's a good question. I don't know. I know someone said that my name has been banned since like day 2 of Rittenhouse. And to be clear, I've never sent people over to Law and Crime to say, hey, come watch here. Nope. I don't do that. I tell people to go away. Go away from me if you don't like me. But I'm notoriously bad at advertising. I do not go out into other streams and do stuff. If I ever do that, anything like that, I'll drop a super chat and say, hey, but I actually usually don't drop a super chat and say, hey, come watch my show. That's not what I do. I just drop a super chat in a stream that's relevant to the stream. Now people see Ricada Law and they see the little gray check mark and they may come check out my channel. Or sometimes the person who I'm super chatting will say, oh, hey, I know that guy. That guy's cool or whatever. But I don't go, oh, hey, come watch my show. That's not how I do things. Kellen Stack says Lemafau. Jonathan Bradley says, on one hand, I hope LNC back down. Oh, I read that one. Joseph Feidzo says, I hate everything about you except one thing. Roger says, WW2, Nick equals us, Law and Crime equals Japan. Alex Scott Thompson says, unironically, let's kickstart a Law and Crime competitor. Otto Rommel says, if they take you to court, can you force YouTube into discovery for them to release data on an attack on your channel? That would be some interesting discovery. I mean, yes, and in some ways we could get there. Slug to the Chest says, shout out from the beautiful Northern California. Sacramento might be a turd hole, but the North is a piece of gold. Ronnie Cole says, send Law and Crime back to school. Jonathan Bradley says, I appreciate your commitment to read every super chat. I've only given to a few tubers and I've regretted them all because it wasn't read, i.e. Tim Pool. Barco Verrer says, you sound paranoid. I doubt Dan Abrams even knows you exist. But if you like, we could do a GoFundMe to hire a dark web hitman to deal with this issue. No, would that be an answer that I go with. I do not prefer violence. I prefer mockery and shame. I don't know if Dan Abrams knows I exist at all. But it's his corporate counsel that sent me a letter. So he owns the actions of his companies. Bird Bath Bash says Law and Crime website is a safe space for left nut cry bullies. Don Travis says, sure, Chandler, those emails look legit. Shu Hang says, you're so in the right. If this went to court, Richards could win your case. Daniel says nearly 6,500 at 1 a.m. Central Time. This is why they are hacking on you. Fuck them. Dario 74 says Law and Crime do take this to the next level, and given your inevitable response, your sub numbers will rocket if this makes the news, which should happen. Again, my preference would be not to fight a lawsuit. No one wants to be in a lawsuit. If you've ever been in one, you don't want to be in another. JH says, never forget college boys. Disgusting. New dislike button says, I'm having an online debate like a loser with a guy crying about toxic masculinity. Any thoughts on TM and the feminization of men, the consequences? Toxic masculinity. Um, Toxic masculinity today is traditional masculinity of yesterday. I mean, is there some nature of masculinity which can be toxic? There can be ideas about masculinity which can be toxic. Um, Most of those ideas are like all men are rapists, right? That is a toxic idea about masculinity. It's so far from the truth that it's embarrassing. But the feminization of men and the consequences. Well, the consequences was Jack Murphy, right? Jack Murphy is the consequence of the feminization of men. A guy saying that the apex level masculinity and cultivating erotic energy is to have someone else have sex with your significant other. That's the consequence. That human sexuality and relationship is so devalued by men as to outsource sex to some other source, to some other person, and call that alpha because I get to tell her when she gets plowed. Yeah, sure. Okay, buddy. No, thank you. The feminization of men is to tell men that they should not ever endure, that someone should always come to their rescue, that their concerns can always be answered through some campaign. It's not how it works. Sometimes you don't get your way. And what men have traditionally done when they don't get their way is do anyway. You do what you have to do. That's the burden that men have taken forever, right? Most men probably didn't want to go out and hunt lions or mastodons or whatever and die, die in droves fighting off these things, but you had to get food. You had to do it. So anyway, but the consequences are what you're seeing. It's TikTok. It's simpery. It's this idea that they should give resources to women who will never ever see them or care about them. All of that. Gary says, endeavor to persevere. Devil's Advocate says, in your fair use analysis, considering the amount taken, you forgot you're supposed to remove scene, affair, and public domain, so that element favors you. David J says, effect on potential market. You're creating new demand. I was not interested in watching unedited trial footage until I found your channel. Steve says, great stream. Only been watching since Rittenhouse trial, but enjoy your content immensely. Fight these SOBs. Thank you. Carly Collette says, also law and crime. Don't be stupid. Mudge Majee says, I just had to. Spent the last 10 minutes spanning Law and Order's videos with some sweet comments. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Mudge Majee, I do not encourage or endorse that activity. Again, I do not want anybody bothering law and crime. I will fight my battles. I just hope you guys are here to watch them be fought. Like Russell Crowe in Gladiator, right? But no, I do not want anybody going and bothering law and crime or doing anything like that. People will do what they do, but that's not coming from me. And I've never asked anybody to do stuff like that. Woden's Lost Eye says, my daughter and I started watching you through the Rittenhouse trial and have enjoyed every minute of you and your panel. Have you heard about attorney William Calhoun arrest? No, I'll have to look into that. Thank you. Matt Skinner says, welcome to super lawyer status. Really appreciate it. Daniel says, we got your 6. Take a shot. We're thirsty. Jay Liebgott says, what law and crime don't get is that you actually have driven viewers to their site. I have watched their content on trials you aren't covering. Again, we're in this golden age where you can do things synergistically or you can try and fight everybody. But whatever, if they don't want to recognize that reality, that's up to them. Jeremy Matrida says, Nick, I'm a devoted follower and am available and willing to travel to any location for the purpose of filming a trial. Roving reporting will get me out of the house. Always love Ricada live and uncut. HP says, is this similar to Sargon versus Aquila? Obviously. I mean, it's different in facts, right? Because Sargon cut up portions of the video of Akila's video, but he played them. He played them without any additional commentary. All of the commentary that he did was in the edits that he made to the video itself. So it's different in that respect. But is it copyright abuse in the same respect? Yes, that's where it's similar. John Doe, message retracted. Brian Tracer says, got a 1-year subscription on Locals. YouTube is a-hole. Angry Baneling says, your P-break/end screen card sucks, bro. Facts. You suck. Sasha says, are you archiving your streams just in case? The Rittenhouse ones are legendary. Would be awful to lose them forever. Yes, I have them. John Doe says, subbed after a funny lolcow vid. Started watching more after the Flashcast you hosted. Watched the Rittenhouse streams in their entirety. Cool channel and commentary. Watch it in the background at work. Hey, thanks, John Doe. Ogonzo 1000 says, think he's stuck in the John. Mr. Bentham says, you and your panel make the trial interesting. I would not sub or be interested in the trials otherwise. Griff me harder, Law Daddy. Mario Carter 13 says, Nick had to clean up after sharding on stream. Oh, I wish. Bird Bath Bash says, lawn crimes just piss because their left-wing organization can't stand watching its product being reviewed from a conservative perspective. MCAR48 says, Twitch streamers always use NFL and other live sports to commentate over. What's the difference here? The difference here is that NFL is not is owned by the NFL, right? Like the NFL owns its own product and they produce the content. They create the NFL. The difference here is that law and crime does not own the court system. They do not own criminal cases. So it's vastly different, but not in law and crime's favor. Zara BP says, hey, law and crime, you are get bent. Thank you, Zara. Some grumpy goat says, hey, Ricada, you're a really awesome dude and I enjoy the content. Also, what's your opinion on us goats? Goats are great. They're funny, for one, and they're good roasted, for two. The Squid says law and crime are certified cucks. That being said, how long before Chandler gives the Shaggy defense? It wasn't me. I don't know what he's gonna do, man. I'm very curious to see what the defense mounts for him. Snuggle Struggle says we cannot even begin to argue the merits of toxic masculinity so long as toxic femininity remains unspeakable in a public forum. Hypocrisy 101. Larry says, watching since Vic Mignogna case. Great channel. Hey, thanks, Larry. Tomorrow is a potential Vic decision day, so we'll see what happens there. Braden Brown says, Law and Cuck should make an appearance in Cuck Simulator. Big Z says, Law and Crime is going after my heteroflexa, bro. Us members of the Seminole Order are behind you, Nick, or bent over in front. Hashtag Geiga Chad. Patrick Allen says, get him, Nick R. And Keep Flying says, FYI, Law and Crime told the podcast Sword and Scale that they would charge $500 per minute to use a publicly broadcast trial in the podcast. Abrams sucks. Yeah, I'm not in any way interested in their offer of license on their webpage. So, again, what we're doing here is fair use. It just is, and that. And they should know that. And I believe that they do. A couple more chats that popped in on Odyssey, and then we'll wrap up the show. Great US says, even when attacked by mega $1 million corporation, the Minnesota ogre had to remember his Odyssey red hair stepkids. Radicalized Ryan sent some more coins, coin emotes, coin comments, and coins themselves. 5x5 says law and cucking. If I didn't read that one. Mark Gee says, never heard of Law and Crime before watching you. Was going to occasionally watch their streams. Oh, I read that one. They do some weird. Here we go. Herman Armenia says,
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Wrestling Foundation's first Regal Legal Throwdown. In this corner from Minnesota, where I was governor for a while, Rackets and the Testicular Dick Chicks. And in this corner, the C-SPAN of law, ball, and wine. Gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble.
Great US says also, wait, I read that one. Read those. Cannell says, are you still defending copyright laws like a few days ago? If you have to go to court to defend against malicious copyright strikes, the system is solely there to protect legacy media. I mean, I think the system's there to protect legacy, a lot of things. But, I mean, copyright laws are a reality that we're in. And as long as we're in that reality, that's where we have to operate. Del Friggin Tree says, sup? And Great US says, yeah, Lawyer League sounds better. What other options are there? And then Deluxe 247 says, I'm sorry this is happening. This seems like an obvious case of fair use. I think they are jealous. I think so too. Lord Vader says, Dan Abrams says, get off my lawn, crime. Angry Baneling says, LNC has better break/end screen cards, I heard. Well, you are hard of hearing. So, okay, guys. Cookie says, never bow down to bullies. We have your back. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, it has been, it's a 3-hour show tonight, and I'm not going to do Twitch tonight because I need to get some rest before teaching tomorrow. There's a slight possibility of a little bit of locals content, tonight. I'm not sure yet. It'll depend. I got to go check on the madhouse that's out there. These kids need to be asleep because they've got stuff going on early in the morning, as do I. But tomorrow it'll be, again, 10:15 a.m. Central Time, about that we start streaming, and I'll try and figure out how to pick up the Theodore Edgecombe trial from wherever it is leaving off. So I got to figure out how to do that. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll make it happen. So Bob Piffle says, random favorite Leslie Nielsen movie. Keep the strong on the walls. God bless. Was he in Hot Shots or Hot Shots Part 2? Or both? Airplane. Let's go with Airplane. So, all right, guys. We'll catch you guys soon. Hope you have a good night. I appreciate you hanging out with me. And one final word to Law and Crime. Fuck you. Peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side, if his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some law-splaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed, to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an Ardbeg, a Balmore, a Lafroig, the spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the T-post on Twitter, as we hear law-splaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed, to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Dante to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. unemployed. So pour out a glass for the T-post on Twitter as we hear Lost Blaming tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law